Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Yasir Naqvi. As you heard earlier, it's a great honor for me to be here along with a very distinguished panel, and I'll introduce them in one moment. Let me start by recognizing that we are meeting on the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin and the Anishinaabe peoples, who have lived on these lands for thousands and thousands of years before contact from when the Europeans came. The title of this panel, as you heard, is Non-State Actors and the Migration Industry. Our panelists and I agree that this is a very big and broad topic, and we can go in so many different directions. So we will do our very best to give you a interactive glimpse into what this topic means and talk about some of the risks and challenges associated with non-state actors and their role in migration industry, but most importantly, of course, solutions. In human terms, we are discussing the role of civil society, international organizations, the private sector, and organized active citizens in preparing, managing, welcoming, and integrating immigrants and refugees into society. While the state sets legal pathways and systems for immigration, refugee, and asylum, non-state actors facilitate important connections to services, networks, and communities before, during, and after immigration. Legal, economic, and cultural supports are all key to making sure that newcomers can successfully integrate and participate in an inclusive society. As I mentioned in my introduction, it was mentioned that I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute for Canadian Citizenship, and I just wanted to give you a quick background. I'm just looking at whether the slides are working or not. Let's see, here we go. The Institute for Canadian Citizenship is also a non-state actor here based in Canada that is focused on citizenship and importance of continuous efforts to support inclusion, especially driven by citizens and civil society beyond initial settlement services and immediate needs. We have different activities we do. One of them, the most predominant one, is that we host citizenship ceremonies, welcoming and connecting new Canadian citizens to established Canadians, and we do that through our enhanced citizenship ceremonies. We also have an app called Canoe, which allows for new Canadian citizens for 1 year to access 1,400 museums, art galleries, science centers, and national parks across the country for free. The whole idea there is to ensure that we're using arts and culture as a pathway to inclusion and belonging. We have 6 Degrees, which is the global forum for inclusion. Here we deal with difficult issues around exclusions, whether we should be building walls or opening doors, the kind of issues, the populist rhetoric that we're dealing with today. This is where we bring experts and regular day citizens to engage in those issues and come up with practical solutions. And of course, ideas and insights to do research and analysis. We launch campaigns like most recently, we launched in Canada a Celebrate Citizenship Challenge, where we're asking all Canadian businesses to give paid time off to the employees to attend their own citizenship ceremony. So those of you who are Canadians, if your companies or your organizations don't, perhaps you want to consider changing your human resource policies to allow for that. As mentioned, we have a very diverse and thoughtful and well-learned panel here today, and let me give you a quick introduction as we get into the discussion. First, I'll introduce Chris Friesen. Chris, wave. There we go. Just trying to make sure he's listening to me. Yeah, you're awake? Excellent. Chris is the Director of Settlement Services at Immigrant Services Society of BC, and he is the Canadian Immigrant Settlement Sector Alliance Chair and Co-Chair of National Settlement Council. To my right and your left is Aileen Farrell, who joined the Immigration Consultants of Canada Regulatory Council, ICCRC, in July of 2018, and is first ever regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant Ambassador and is owner of Farrell Consulting. Olivero Forti, to Aileen, is the head of Migration Policies and International Protection Department at Caritas Italiana. He is involved in opening legal and safe pathways from Horn of Africa, Middle East, Turkey, and Jordan. And last but not least, to my left, to your right, Ryszard Holowinski. Got it right, Ryszard? Excellent. Been practicing all night. Ryszard is a senior migration specialist in the International Labour Organization's regional office for Arab states based in Beirut, Lebanon. He oversees ILO's labor migration work in the Arab region relating to policy and technical assistance, research, and development cooperation. So, a fascinating panel. We've met a couple of times, and I think we're ready to do things slightly different. So we're going to, as I said, divide our discussion in two parts. First, we will highlight some of the risks and challenges around migration industry and the role that non-state actors play. But then on the second part, we will spend some time talking about solutions, because we really want to leave this plenary with giving you some thoughts around what those solutions are, and hopefully then we can go back to our respective communities, jurisdictions, and implement those solutions as well. So I'll pose a very simple, brief question, and we'll start with Oliviero, and our question is this: what risks do migrants face that you are working to address through your organization, and what are the biggest challenges in doing so? Oliviero.